Hello everyone, look at this herb. Do you know what the name of it is? We're going to be speaking about it very shortly, so welcome to our Wellness Wednesday at a slightly later time today.
Yes.
If you're watching live, please say hello in the comments below, and it's #replay if you're watching on the replay, even if it's on YouTube at a later time. Please do say hello and let us know where you're watching from and whether you know about this herb. So the herb's name is called, Ronald?
Coriander.
Yes. Or cilantro.
If you call it Australian, it'll be coriander, right? If it's English, it's coriander, right? But it's also known in America as cilantro, cilantro. If you mention coriander in America, they look at you blank. But if you mention cilantro here, they look at you blank. They know it here as coriander.
And also in the Asian countries, we know it as coriander as well.
Coriander. It is one of the prime herbs that you should be growing in your garden. Prime. Why? Because it has an amazingly unique flavor. Now, I've tested thyme, flowering thyme, oregano, marjoram, tarragon, chives, onion. These are all herbs, right? Greek basil, sweet basil, and so on and so on and so on and so on, right? And the coriander is one of my top 10 favorites. And I'm going to give you a recipe out there and it'll knock your socks off. It's that tasty, right? Fantastic, right? And this is a year where we've had a fair bit of warm weather, and even now you can still have barbecues, right? This is the dish I'm going to show you shortly. When I show you the benefits first, I'm going to show you this where you can actually use a barbecue to cook your meat or your fish or your chicken or whatever. And then at the end of eating the meat and the fish and the chicken and the lamb and so on, you make this dish up and fresh. You've got to do it fresh, and it's got to be eaten within half an hour, because otherwise it will oxidate. And I'll show you the recipe in a minute. But first of all, always start with the benefits of the item or herb or fruit that you're talking about. Now, coriander is amazingly helpful for diuretics. You know what diuretic is? diuretic. Now, I've seen, when I've been in England for 10 odd years, I've seen a lot of young people from about 25, 30 and up to 50 with incredibly amount of retention of fluid in the ankles, right? And they call it oedema, O-E-D-E-M-A. It's a very serious problem because you see the body is 72% water, okay? However, the water should not be pooling from your knees down. It should not be pooling there. It shouldn't be. I see them when they're wearing the mini skirt or short skirt or whatever, and you see from the knee down, you see almost like an elephant leg, right? Very, very heavy with fluid, and the ankles are swollen with large amounts of water, and that's wrong because that's not supposed to be there. Your ankle's supposed to be slim all the way through. So the coriander is one of the prime herbs you use on a regular basis if you want to get rid of excess water in the body, right? Now, why is that so important? Is because if you carry a lot of oedema, a lot of water retention from the knee down, especially around the ankles, the problem you're going to have is that they're going to put enormous stress on your kidneys, right? Your kidneys are located in the small of your back, at the back, and this is the key. One kidney has got 1 million nephrons. Nephrons. And nephron is a very tiny, very, very tiny filter, okay? Like a filter, like a little bag, right? But they are filters. They essentially, so you got two kidneys, therefore you got 2 million nephrons. Now you might think that's a lot. No, it's not, because it's tightly packed in the kidney. And the problem you've got, and this is when you get kidney problems, you end up with what I call dialysis, D-I-A-L-Y-S-I. Dialysis is you've got to go to the hospital on a regular basis every second day, and they're going to put a needle in your arm and they're going to suck the excess fluid out. That's, in other words, they're draining your kidneys. Once you get into the dialysis, you're in serious problems. So get involved with sorting out your water retention now. If you don't do that, you could end up in hospital on a regular basis. I've seen patients in Singapore and Malaysia where every second day they've got to go to hospital to get their kidneys flushed out because the kidneys have failed, because they're letting the water retention stick around too long for 5 or 10 years. The damage is done, right? If you have any water retention, go to someone like me and talk to them about it and let them put you on a special type of foods where you'll get rid of the water, okay, water retention. And people today, as young as 25 or 30, are getting edema, which is retention of water, which is not very dangerous. So that's one thing. The coriander is very good for that. The second thing is coriander's got manganese. Manganese, right? It's got manganese, it's got potassium, it's got calcium, it's got magnesium, and it's got some silica, depending where you plant it. Now, the manganese is excellent for hay fever. So if you eat coriander, which has been grown organically with manganese mineral, that will help your nose and your throat and your eyes combat hay fever, okay? Hay fever is, even now, hay fever is very common. And there's a lot of people suffering, and they're using Becanaise and all types of chemicals up their nose, and they're taking tablets against hay fever. But the simple solution is drink coriander tea, make food with coriander, and then that will help you with your manganese. And then manganese will help strengthen. Manganese is a trace mineral. Like calcium and magnesium are what I call macro minerals. Manganese is macro minerals, and the manganese is a micro, but still very, very important, especially for the immune system, okay? So it's not just good for hay fever, it's good for asthma, it's good for chest respiration, it's good for any types of viruses that's flowing around at the moment, so you get really build up your immune system with manganese. So these are some of the minerals in the coriander. On top of that, about 100 grams of coriander contains 2.8 grams of fiber. And you've heard me speak so many times about the importance of fiber. So if you're eating 3 apples, right, you get 12 grams of fiber. You eat 3 pears, you get 18 grams of fiber. So 18 plus 12 is 30 grams. You add some coriander, you get 2.8 grams. So once you get to about 38 grams of fiber on a daily basis, you don't have a problem with your bowels. Every day you'll be emptying the bowels. And that's a marvelous thing, because the waste in your bowel, imagine your toilet's clogged up for 4 days. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to leave the house. You're going to fumigate the house. So likewise inside your body. If you don't flush out the waste in your body on a daily basis, you're going to get a lot of constipation. You're going to get a lot of skin problems. You can even have problems with your eyes, because your body's so clogged up. It sends problems to the eyes from the bowel. And then you end up having to wear thick glasses and so on and so on. To prove that point, next week I'll be 75. 75 years young. No glasses. But my dad wore glasses at 42. I knew what the formulas to take. I took them. And at the age of 50, I got rid of my glasses. And it's been 25 years. No glasses. How wonderful is that? Fantastic, right? And you know, when you're active like me, if you're doing martial arts, if you're doing weight training, if you're doing gardening, you don't want glasses on your head. It's very painful. There's sweats everywhere. No good. And I guarantee I will not wear glasses till at least 120. Guaranteed. Right? Because I know the formulas to make it happen. Now, let's continue with the benefits. As well as a diuretic, it's also a very strong anti-inflammatory herb. Now, just about every disease we see, the first cause of it is inflammation. It comes from the French, français, enflammé, which means you've got an internal flame. In other words, your internal organs are inflamed, which is not good, because it means that if you inflame, what happens first? The body creates mucus, like an ointment, to try and fix it up. And then the more mucus they make, the more you get clogged up, the more you get colds, the more you get flu, the more you get hay fever, the more you get asthma. Right? You see how dangerous that is? So any inflammation has got to be fought fast. And because inflammation in your body makes you feel terrible. You feel lousy, you feel hot and bothered, you can't sleep well. You've got to get rid of inflammation. Coriander is one of those. Guess what else? Coriander is also very, very good for mental health, because the herb, the oils in the coriander can penetrate to the brain barrier here and feed the brain. Now, why am I saying that? I am shocked. Shocked at the amount of money spent here in the UK on Alzheimer's and dementia, right? They're talking about £11 billion just to cope with, let me repeat that, £11 billion to cope with dementia in the next 5 to 10 years. And this is the other thing, the big problem. When you get dementia, Alzheimer's at a very bad level, guess what? You'll end up selling your house. You'll end up selling your house for the carers to take care of you, right? Put the money in good food. Put the money in organic food, and then you won't get dementia. You won't get Alzheimer's, right? Alzheimer's and dementia now is an epidemic level. You talk about viruses, that is one of the worst viruses, if you call it, one of the worst problems you've got, Alzheimer's, dementia. I've seen heaps and heaps of Alzheimer's patients and dementia patients. It's not funny. And some people have got dementia at the age of 40. They get Alzheimer's at 50. And then they can live on for another 25, 30 years in a hospital or in a care home looking like a vegetable.
And it's very stressful for your loved ones who are looking after you as well.
Let me make a point to you. I've seen it firsthand. Alzheimer's people, right? At the age of 50, they got Alzheimer's. They were still in a care home at 78. At 28 years old, they've been sitting in a hospital or care home, sitting there in a damp bed and a damp chair, and nobody cares. Nobody cares, unless you've got a really close family. And the people that take care of these people, they spend 8 hours, 12 hours a day caring for them. And it takes about 3 carers per day, because you see, when you've got Alzheimer's and dementia, you do some silly things, like starting fires at 2 o'clock in the morning with the gas. You lose your keys. You don't know who your father or your mother is. You don't know, or you don't know your family is. You don't know, because it's just completely. It's like a scrambled egg in your brain. That's the same story, huh? Now, why is that important? I've seen it firsthand. Now, when you got Alzheimer's, dementia, unless you come to someone like me, you can't reverse it, because they'll give you drugs from then on, and you're finished, right? Now, why is that important? You can stop Alzheimer's and dementia in its tracks now, but you've got to start early. If you don't start early, the brain starts to atrophy. It starts to become like a scrambled egg, and as you know, with a scrambled egg, trying to put it back in an egg form, you can't do it. The brains are scrambled up, all chewed up, right? So I'm going to give you another factor. Apart from dementia, Alzheimer's, getting rid of excess water, it also is very helpful to give you great skin, right? And let me tell you something. When you're young, 20, 25, 30, if you've got great skin, you can have a degree or no degree. If you look healthy, you look really healthy, full of energy, the boss or the employer will give you the job first, because you've got energy. Every time I've been on a job interview when I was back in my 20s, 30s, whatever, I'd always get the job. Because the guys, I said, why did you give me the job? They say, well, because you look so healthy. You look so vibrant. You've got so much energy. And I would prove it. I would do the work of 2 men. I would do the work of two or three staff. And I was on my own. I'd do 10-hour days. And I was always get bonuses, because I delivered with energy. And energy is your future. And if you got energy, you could be 25, you could be 50, you could be 75, you could be 80. If you've got energy all the way through, you are alive. You've got no Alzheimer's, you've got no dementia. Now, I'm going to give you a fantastic recipe.
Okay,
Let's
so
turn around.
I'll just show you the herb again for those of you who don't know what it looks like.
Let me just pick it up and show it. Here it is. Here it is. Look at that. Can you see? Just pull it up like that. Yeah, can you see? That is the fresh coriander. Look at that. See? Does it make sense? Can you see the leaf? Can you see the leaf? That's what it's like.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
So about that much, okay, is good. Now, let's do
talk about one little pot here.
That's a little pot, but we've got other coriander plants in other herb pots, right? And for example, just show them in that pot over there. Can you see? Can you see that? Can you see that? There's coriander in there in that function over there. Okay, it's on there, right?
Well, these are other herbs as
These
well.
are the
We
other
have
herbs as well.
and
Okay, so the recipe I'm going to give you is this, right? First of all, have a look at that. Can you see that?
this is a mango.
That's a mango. Now, I'll tell you, it's about 4 inches wide, right? 3 or 4 inches wide, and it's about, say, 5 inches long. Can you see? Let me run it around like that. Okay.
It's the size of a
That's
hand.
the size of the hand. It's big. It's big. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at it. It's over covered your hand, right? So I've got a big hand. Okay, but look at that. Look at the size of that. Now, when you pick the mango, don't pick the mango green. Try and get a mango that's got like that. You see? You see the color? Now that means that mango is close to ripeness. That's why we never shop. We never organize shopping for them to be delivered the shopping to us. We go to the market, we go to wherever, and we pick the fruit that we like. We don't rely on somebody else to pick the fruit to send it to us. We pick it at the market, at the shop, wherever it is, right? So that's the first thing you do is pick up a mango like that. Again, watch again. Look at the size of that. So it's quite a good one. That's one mango is enough. Now the idea is you peel it with a sharp knife. Okay, you peel it with a sharp knife. There you go. All right, you peel it with a sharp knife, and then what you do is you take all the skin off, and then you get a sharp knife and you slice all the flesh off the mango. Now you get a sharp knife, and when you're peeling it, you start cutting the flesh into quarter, like a little quart size like that, about 1 inch, 1 inch square. Okay, remember that 1 inch square. So don't make it long slices. Make it like you do a plate of it, and then you chop it up into like 1/4, say 1/4 size of an inch, or up to 1 inch. So that's the first thing you put in your salad pot. Okay, next thing you do is you buy a pineapple, right? Okay. You buy a pineapple. We'll show you the pineapple. Oh, that, see? You know, now that's one that's ripe. I'm going to show you how you pick up whether the pineapple's ripe or not. That's a good one, you see? Now, how you work out if pineapple's ripe, you do this. You bend it like that, and you smell it, see? And it smells ripe. It's got this lovely sweet smell. See, look at the trick. You smell it like that. Then you know it's ripe. If it's really green, it's not ripe. If you see the yellow, it means it's ripe. So, again, I wish you could smell that. Absolutely, sense the senses, right? Now, the other way you do it is to know whether it's ripe. You get a leaf there, see the leaf? And then what you do this. Look at that. So if the leaf comes out easy, the pineapple's ripe. So you do it this way, smell it. Yep, and then do another test, grab the leaf, like that. See how easy it goes? Now, if the pineapple's not ripe, those leaves, right, will stay solid on the pineapple. So if you can buy a pineapple green and ripen it at home, right? So we tend to buy ours 2 days or so before it ripens, and then when it's ripened like that. Now, here's the idea. Now, oops, excuse the noise.
Ice cream van.
Ice cream van for the kids. Not here. So anyway, what you do is you get a sharp knife, you cut the top off here, then you peel, you cut through all this, and you remove all this grenade-like spikes, and then you cut this one as well in about 1 inch square. Okay, you can make it smaller if you like, right? So what you've got so far is the actual mango, pineapple, right? And that goes in your plate. So you could put mango first, or pineapple first, or you can put pineapple first, cut up, and then mango next. Okay, either way you're going to mix it. Now, once you've done that, guess what you put in there? You put in there about 3 or 4 tablespoons, right, of finely chopped coriander leaves. So you get the coriander, about say half a cup, and you chop it up really, really fine. And then you put that on top of the mango or pineapple. You put that on top. Like I said, very, very fine. Then you get 1 red onion, small one. You chop that up really, really fine as well. Then you get a shallot, like a banana shallot. You cut one of those, that's just sweet. Cut it up, put that in as well. So what you've got so far, you've got the mango, the pineapple, the shallot, the onion, and cilantro. Okay?
Or coriander.
Or coriander. Okay, you got all that. Now, what do you do next? You add to it 1 dessert spoon of what? 1 dessert spoon of sea salt. I use sel de Guérande or Himalayan pink salt. I use one or the other. Or sometimes use a bit of, about a teaspoon of one, sel de Guérande, or teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt. Then you put 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I use Bragg's. I love it. I've been using Bragg's for 30 years. Great apple cider vinegar. I don't buy any other apple cider vinegar. I buy Bragg's. Apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons, and you put 2 tablespoons of Greek or Spanish extra virgin olive oil. You put it all up in that mixture. You got all that mixture, and you stir it all up. And guess what else you add to it? You can add fresh green chili, right? So we use our own chili here. I've got one here. I'll show you. You see that? Look at that. Can you see that? That's picked. I've just picked from the garden here. That's chili. You put, depending on your taste, you can use 1 of those or 10 of those. But be careful it's not too hot. Then once you've got the chili, you chop it up really, really fine as well, and you spread it all over the mixture. And then you mix everything fully with a good spoon. You mix it fully. Now, after you've had your barbecue and you've eaten your meat and your fish and your chicken and so on, that will need digestion. When you eat that mixture of pineapple, mango, etc., 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 guess what happens? Within 1 hour of eating that mixture, your meat is digested from your stomach. It's already moving forward to the duodenum and intestines, and the next day, right, you don't have any feedback, any problems with constipation. You will empty your bowels the next day, which is what you need to do, because you eat, the waste must be removed. So how about that? Fantastic tip, isn't it? So now, I've never seen a chef, I've met many, I've never seen a chef make this dish, pineapple mango with chili. Brilliant, you know. You do it, and then when our chefs come to our house, and I've done this dish, and they've looked at me and go, "Where'd you learn to eat like that?" I said, "Well, I use my noggin." The Australians call it noggin. Use noggin. Noggin means use your brains, right? When you do use your brains, you can have some incredible dishes, right? And you can have some amazing results with your barbecue. Now, you don't need to have a barbecue to have this. You can cook your lamb or your fish or your chicken in your stove or on your stove, and afterwards you eat that mixture. You make it that way as well. So you can, either way, you've got digestive issues that can be resolved. Okay?
Okay, so we've got Usha, Mariel, and I think it was Margaret and Sadia watching here. Hi, ladies.
That's good.
I hope you found this recipe and video useful. Especially Usha says she's going to try this pineapple mango with chili.
Yeah. With the chili, be very careful, because chili can be really, really hot, like Scotch bonnet, right? But if you start with a bit of chili, by the way, you know, when I started eating chili, I was 3 years old. 3 years old. My grandfather said, "Come on, it's time you start eating chili." And he put a little bit of chili on my tongue, and I liked it. It was like really hot, you know. I went, wow. And from then on, I fell in love with chili. Guess what? I have chili every single day. Every time I eat dinner, whether it's fish, chicken, lamb, or whatever, I always get chilies, fresh chilies, and I cut it up and I put it on my food. And it's a great appetizer. It's a great digestive as well. There's another good tip for you.
Yeah. So especially, I think some of you have young children like Usha and maybe grandchildren.
Yeah.
You know, introduce them to things like this herb, coriander and chili earlier on in life, so that they can appreciate it.
That's right.
I know I certainly was brought up with coriander, so I was the one eating coriander from a very young age as well.
Yeah. But at the same time, be careful. If someone's really young, really young, like 2 years old, you know, I wouldn't recommend giving them chili, because it's like they're gonna freak out, right? But when they're about 3 years old, just put a little bit, just a tiny little bit, and just put it on their tongue like that, and then pull it off. Just don't make them swallow it. Just touch it like that, and then watch their face, right? And then if they get a bit older, give them a bit more. Eventually, when you get about 10 or 12, they will ask for chili every day. And then you're doing them a big favour, because chili is another great herb. It's a type of herb plant that gives you what? Fantastic skin. All right? Look at our skin. young as ever.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, thanks a lot, ladies, for joining us
great backing you.
and giving all your lovely comments. I'm gonna go back and reply to each one of them once this video is over.
Yeah.
So do tag your friends as well, and remember we are live every Wednesday. Today's at the later time. However, from next week onwards, again we'll be back at the normal time of 1:30 p.m.
Yes.
UK time. Do join us then for another great wellness tip. If you're watching this on replay, it'll be on our YouTube channel fairly soon as well.
Yeah, just to encourage them, just show them our garden at the back.
Okay.
Have a look at that.
So this is our summer
This is our
garden.
have a look at that.
Starts
take a look
from
at it.
like
Yep.
the herbs pots here.
Yep. Like the tarragon here.
Yeah, we've got
Tarragon.
various herbs. This is like our herb
Yep.
section with
Yes.
chives.
Yep. And this is Oriental lilies.
Yes.
Oriental lilies here, see?
Okay.
Like that. And that attracts the bees.
And
then
these
this
are
is these raspberries. Look at the
plants.
size of them. They're about 8 feet tall.
very
Raspberry
tall.
plants.
Yeah.
And then I started with one of those about 4 years ago, and now I've got about 35.
Yeah.
There's a fig tree at the back,
And olive
an
tree
olive
as well.
trees
you
down
can
the
see there.
corner, fig tree there, another apricot here, and then show them the evening primrose here.
Evening primrose.
Evening
This
primrose.
is
That's evening primrose.
ladies. You will know that it's good for our
Complexion.
cycle and all.
Complexion and
Lady
menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
these are the oils which we normally consume like in capsule form
And very expensive.
from the pharmacies or
Yes.
the health food shops. So you
Yeah.
can actually get this
Plant.
this plant. You can actually grow it and just eat the flower
Yes.
on its own like
Just
that.
show them how to
yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just
So
pluck the
between
flower,
pick
and
the
just
flower.
eat it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Just
you chew
eat
the
it.
flower.
Yeah.
And that's how you get the oil.
Okay.
I think we've given them a lot of tips.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
take care and see you next week. Have a
Yes.
great rest of the week.
Yep. And
Bye-bye.
looking forward to getting your feedback on your skin.
Okay. Bye bye.
Okay.